Thank you very much, Pilar, and thank you once again for your leadership in identifying such an important issue for our discussion. So you said that you were going to have experts following, so obviously you're talking about the experts who come after me. But before that, a word from the European Commission, and we are expert in identifying really obvious things and packaging them in policies, but hopefully actually more seriously then really pushing those issues, helping the experts to deliver on what is a key element of our digital single market strategy. Because as you all know, it doesn't need to be repeated that digital technology has and is fundamentally changing both the way we manufacture goods, we deliver goods and services, the way we buy things, the way we obtain information, and the way that we interact with one another. And the Internet of Things is actually at the core of that digitization process, and it is an essential building block for the digital single market, and as Pilar has just mentioned, for the data economy and for data technologies. So of course, we have quite a lot of serious economic work done to show just how important Internet of Things is going to be. By 2020 already, we expect the value of the manufacturing industry to be around 286 billion in Europe. Now, the impact on the European Union is perhaps unmeasurable, because Internet of Things, if we do it properly, is going to become central to all production processes, to all manufacturing, and it will be a technology that has an impact on all sectors of the economy well beyond the ICT sector. So we're no longer talking about that technology or that technological sector, we're talking about the entire economy as well as our society in general. And we are fully committed in the European Commission and the European Union to actually achieving what Pilar said at the start, which is to ensure that Europe has a leadership position. We already put it at the heart of our Digitising European Industry proposals, which were at the start of the digital single market cycle. And we want to ensure that industry benefits from the Internet of Things revolution, and that European businesses are at the core of rolling that out. That was very much central to what the Digitising European Industry package was about, allowing everybody to understand, to improve processes, and to adapt their business models to this new equipment and what it means. To do that, we have underpinned our efforts with significant money from the European taxpayer in our research and development programs, in particularly the instrument of having a focus area on Internet of Things, which is a key part of the Horizon 2020 program. We have looked at applying practical and developments in a whole lot of different application areas, in smart cities, smart living environments, driverless cars, etc. And beyond that, the European IoT Platform Initiative brings together a whole lot of new projects under EU funding to try and develop what we would call Internet of Things ecosystems, to have platforms for connected smart objects. And looking even wider again, Internet of Things plays a key part in delivering on our 5G policies, including that the work is being done in creating a 5G connectivity environment for what we call the verticals, for industry, for manufacturing, for agriculture, etc., so that they can fully benefit. Within, therefore, our IoT projects, we have the large-scale pilots in the focus area, again working in different areas such as aging well and health, farming and food security, cities and smart cities, autonomous vehicles, etc., etc. But without the work that we are doing on standard setting, we wouldn't really be much help at all to industry who are in the lead on these issues. So we have done quite a lot of work on developing, supporting and testing, experimentation of devices, and we need to ensure that European industry has the capacity and the ability to influence the global standard setting process, because that will be key, not just to the technologies, but also to the privacy and security settings that we in Europe must insist are at the heart of Internet of Things developments. And in fact, it is in that area in particular that we can see how important Internet of Things was in our thinking, for example, when we rolled out our cybersecurity package last year, where the certification process will be central to what is a fast-moving technological area with numerous different application areas. We couldn't possibly hope to be on top of all of those technological developments, nor indeed should we try to. Instead, what we have to do is set a very clear framework for allowing the identification of appropriate security standards, and then ensuring a safe, reliable, trustworthy certification system for that ecosystem so that it can develop quickly and so that it is not waiting for the standards to catch up. The same applies to data protection. And so the application of the GDPR, which, as you know, is coming very quickly, will also be something where, again, the privacy by design concept, the approach that we have, will be central to ensuring that European industry can be not only taking the lead, but flexible enough in order to continue to be in that leadership position. So the real challenge is to leverage what is already a recognized technological strength in Europe across the next generation of devices in order to actually be able to deliver on our vision, in order to be able to help industry to develop the Internet of Things devices and ecosystems. But just as importantly, and I repeat this, to allow all of the European economy, all sectors, all businesses to benefit fully, to have, when they are interfacing with other customers or citizens, to be able to give assurances about security, and also to be able to give assurances about the protection of the data that is, of course, going to be generated by these massive systems. So to summarize, European leadership is key. That leadership will come from the engagement of European business, both the manufacturers but also the sectors who need to deploy. For that, we can help. We are already working to ensure that there is, one, a clear internal market for the Internet of Things, both in terms of its rules and its standardization. Secondly, most importantly, we have to develop a clear European IoT ecosystem. And the AIoTI, whom you will hear from in a few minutes, are at the core of that activity for us. And lastly, we must insist on maintaining the objective of not going to the lowest common denominator, having a human-centric Internet of Things which puts privacy by design at the center, data protection and security. And that way, we will have a lasting success for European industry in the Internet of Things. Thank you very much. Bon appétit.